The New York Yankees are back, Jerry. They are officially back. I know people, and I hear it all the time, you called them dead. It was over. They're not going to make the playoffs. You said that it wasn't their year, and now all they've done is won like every single game they played after the All-Star break. And I always counter that with not the same team. Different. Brian Cashman went out, and there were some reinforcements that were made, even though one of them hasn't been around because of COVID and Anthony Rizzo. But Luke Voit comes back, and he has been awesome, and he was chirping after the game last night about how he deserves to play just as much as Anthony Rizzo, which I actually like to hear because that's what he believes. You have Heel, who has been just a complete boost to that rotation. Great again last night in that second game. And now they are officially, I know you love this, Jerry, if the season ended today, they are officially a playoff team. And I know we still have a long way to go, rest of August, September, the whole deal. But they are playing better than anybody in Major League Baseball right now. And their season has been saved. And now it's only upward from here. At least that's the way it feels.
I totally agree, and I know a couple of people were beating me up on Twitter for being like a Yankee shill yesterday over the last few weeks. No, it's what I'm seeing and what I'm watching, and if you're not seeing the same thing, I don't know what you're watching, because you look at a team now, and Cora said it after the second game last night, I believe. This is not the same Yankee team that the Red Sox saw, forget a few months ago, a few weeks ago.
Don't be a Yankee bitch.
Well, I understand, Mr. Christie, but right now, they are better than almost anybody. That's how well they're playing. The pitching's been good. Even when they get into tough spots, they've been able to escape them. They have not been mashing the ball like you'd like on a daily basis, but they got the timely hits yesterday. Even when they don't hit, like a couple of nights ago, they hit early. The pitching makes it stand up for the rest of the game. They're winning games at a great clip. And they are going to, I really do believe, as they've moved past the Red Sox, I think they're going to fly right by them and have room to spare, because up and down this lineup, you tell me where the weakness is. I mean, there's not many of them. You tell me,
Biatch!
I understand. Fair. But they're good. I mean, it's just what they are. And now that Stanton's playing the outfield, Voit can, complain all he wants. Voit's going to stick around and probably get, his turn at DH. When Rizzo comes back, he'll play little first base. And now you can use that DH spot as not as an anchor for Stanton, but now you can move guys around.
Good for Luke Voit. Hey, good for you, Luke Voit, because he gets put in this situation. He hated the fact that they traded for Rizzo. He said he understood it because he had too many injuries, and that's the reason he was here. He could have come back and been sulking and complaining and talking about how things weren't going his way, but all he's come up and done is hit since Rizzo's gone on this COVID IL. He's been great, and he's saying, hey, I want to stay here, for crying out loud. I led the league in home runs last year in the 60-game season, for Christ's sakes. I deserve to be playing. So he will play. I don't know if it's going to be at first base every day. Of course, it's not when Rizzo comes back, but he's going to play. And it's what a tremendous asset to have on the team. So, I mean, maybe some people didn't like the confidence yesterday in the post-game news conference talking about, how he deserves to play as much as Rizzo. But at this point, if he's going to hit like that, it's just another weapon in the lineup. Of course, Tampa is now just crushing Baltimore again.
Shocking.
Was it 10-0 last night or whatever it was? So,
well,
I mean,
and that's where the guys, whether it was O'Neill or Kay or Cohn, I forget who, they were making the case, watch out for the Toronto Blue Jays in the second half, because they got the most games left with Baltimore. I think they got 12 games left with the Orioles.
Hey, you can't forget about them. They're only 3 games back of the loss of the Yankees. Yeah,
exactly, and that's a big part of it. His teams are just beating up on the O's. But a couple of things on Voit. Number one, it is refreshing to hear a guy be very honest. Number two, the reason Anthony Rizzo is here is because A, you weren't very good in the beginning of the year. B, injuries. I mean, the Yankees would not have gone out and got Anthony Rizzo if Luke Voit was healthy all year and hitting 30 home runs and was playing the way he was when he was a top 10 MVP candidate. So part of that is your own doing. Unfortunate, yes, but that is part of it. And the other take number 3 would be
take number 3.
I just wonder, as I said to Al in the warm-up show, I wonder what that dynamic is like in the clubhouse when he's basically referencing Rizzo as, that guy wouldn't be here, if I stayed healthy and I deserve to play just as much as that guy does and blah. It's got to be weird, I would think. I wonder what the relationship is like. But you talk about depth, the Yankees have it in spades right now. I mean, they look like a World Series team right now.
Yeah, I did think about that, but I'm sure that Luke Voit and these guys have been around. I mean, Rizzo's been around for a long time. He seems like a great dude. I'm sure he understands everything. that's one of those things where I don't know if you're Anthony Rizzo, you take it personally. And Luke Voit himself, even though he was saying the stuff he was saying, he understood why Rizzo was there. It was because they needed a left-handed bat. They got two of them, Gallo and Rizzo, and also Luke Voit has just been hurt constantly.
Right.
And he could get hurt again at some point between now and the end of the year. So he understood that. I think most of these guys get the business aspect of it and what it takes and the stuff that you have to deal with. But, if they just sent Luke Voit down or DFA'd him or something, like maybe that would have some clubhouse reverberations, but that's not going to happen, especially with the way that he's hitting.
And again, Stanton being able to play the outfield is huge because now you don't have to worry about where do they get the at-bats. They should be able to find enough at-bats for everybody as long as everybody stays healthy. And if not, then obviously there's no issue at all. But they should be able to make that work with this group they now have.
And if you're a Mets fan, if you care about that team at all, die hard or not, just enjoy the rest of your summer because this is going to be extremely painful.
No.
Punt. Forget about it. Do not put the games on anymore. Forget about it.
No, Pete Alonso said they're going to be fine and they're going to end up where they need to be.
Did he say it again?
He did.
Last night?
Yes, he did.
That's because, you know why? Because he hit that 2-run homer and he felt good about himself.
So he Carmelo Anthony'd the whole situation?
Yeah, basically, that's what I think. If he's still saying that stuff?
He was asked if falling under 500 felt like a gut punch. And he said, nope, because it's not the way you start, not where you are, it's how you finish.
Okay, well, you're finishing horrifically.
Yeah,
it's
they are.
Pathetic. And there's just no reason to put yourself through this. Because, all right, think about it from a Mets perspective. You were in first place for I don't know how many days. You'd been above 500 every single day since May 5th. You're now below 500, below average. You are now, let's see, after last night, you are 4.5. Yeah, as the Braves are on a 5-game winning streak as you're on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah. You know what the Braves are doing? They're beating the Marlins, unlike what they couldn't do.
Exactly. And the Pirates, when you had those opportunities against the bad teams, couldn't get it done. So not only are you losing, you've got the Braves who you hate winning. You've got the Phillies, they've lost 2 in a row, but they have surpassed you as well. And the Yankees, who most Met fans can't stand, are now the hottest team in baseball. So just forget about it. You got a couple weeks left of summer. Enjoy yourself. Go eat outside. Go for a bike ride. Don't let the Mets ruin the rest of your August into September because it's not worth it. And if you're a Giants or Jets fan or root for whoever in the NFL, start reading articles about that, watch some preseason games, put on Hard Knocks, and just forget about the Mets because they are a corpse at this point. I don't care what anybody says out of that clubhouse. It's and when I say now that this is over and it's not their year, I think it's obviously a low-hanging fruit type of deal. But they're just pathetic. They go out. You got this 13-game stretch. You're just asking them to tread water. They can't even do that. They're 0-5 so far to start this 13-game stretch. In order to get to 6-7, we're asking them to have a losing record in this 13-game stretch. They can't even do that. They'd have to go 6-2 to be able to do that.
Yeah.
We're totally incapable of doing that. Forget about it. Good night. See you later. This is just another one of these reference points collapses in this franchise's history, and hopefully Steve Cohen's pissed off enough to go out there and spend some money and go past the luxury tax and get some reinforcements into next year and have a real year when Jacob deGrom is healthy.
Yeah, for them to go 4-9 now, they got to go 4-4 in their next 8 to finish out this trip or finish out this stretch, excuse me. And I think if they actually went 4-4 in the next 8, you would feel like, all right, they turned a corner. That's how bad they've been. And it's we've talked about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's just they're just lifeless offensively. And again, I get it. Lindor's hurt. Okay. But it's not like he was tearing the world on fire or lighting the world on fire when he was here offensively. You still have good players in this lineup that are doing next to nothing. Marcus Stroman got a base hit yesterday. Guess where he ended up? On base. Stuck there.
Yeah, and he bailed out at a press conference earlier. He's like, I'm not talking. He's like, I'm not listening to these stupid questions or whatever, and got up and left.
I would love to know, and maybe Chris can answer this for us when he comes in, because I don't know the answer. I would love to know what types of questions he was asked for him to get to that point where he got up and just walked away.
Yeah, I'm sure he's frustrated, and not like he was bad yesterday by any stretch.
He was outstanding.
Yeah, he was. It wasn't his fault that they lost that game.
Before the Longoria home run, he was in a groove. Striking guys out. He looked like the Marcus Stroman you wanted, and I believed he was going to pitch well last night, and he did. I mean, never good when you give up that home run in the first inning because you've got a struggling offensive team, and then they look up and they're down 2-0 before you even sit down. That having been said, I mean, he gives you the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. I mean, they did nothing. And they just didn't help. And you even had, and listen, I wasn't up watching the game. It was so late. But, watching back to the game rundown and the highlights, you see the one play where Conforto's at second. You get the ground ball, the missed throw. And because the ball's in front of him, Conforto's not advancing. The errant throw, he doesn't score on it. And then he doesn't score. I mean, killer. It really is. Nothing is going right for them offensively.
You like those Giants uniforms last night?
I thought they were cool. Yeah, I'm not usually a big fan of those, but I thought they were neat.
I don't know. I didn't like them at all because... And I'm usually not the guy who's got that stodgy old sports fan opinion when it comes to uniforms. But there's something about that classic Giants uniform. Why the hell are you getting away from it?
Well, I mean, what was I don't know what the uniform was patterned after. Do we know why they did that?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know the reason behind it or whatever. I'm sure because I brought it up and I said I hated it, it probably raised money for some sort of charity. Isn't that always the way it works?
Might want to check that out.
Yeah. Oh, great. You're slamming the uniforms that raise money for this cancer charity. Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I feel like a jerk.
I'm sure they probably talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast, but I don't know. I thought they were okay, though. And I'm usually the type that doesn't like those things.
Yeah.
I thought it was actually okay.
CeeLo had a couple of those. I remember... He was talking about Ricky Fowler with a certain haircut. It might have even been a mullet, actually.
Yeah.
He's growing this mullet. It looks horrible. I hate it. It's so bad. And it was like, yeah, he's doing it to raise money.
And then you get murdered on social media.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.